Hi, I'm Tio, and today we're going to talk about Hotel California by the Eagles. We'll dive into the origins of the band, the story behind the legendary album, and the making of the title track that has intrigued fans for decades. We'll also explore the unforgettable guitar solo, the speculations about the song's meaning, and its enduring legacy. If you love music and music history, stick around, let's get started. The Eagles formed in 1971, bringing together a blend of rock, country, and folk influences. Founded by Glenn Frey, Don Henley, Bernie Leadon, and Randy Meisner, the band quickly rose to fame with hits like Take It Easy and Desperado. By the mid-70s, they had already become a big name in American music. Up to that point, the band had released 4 albums. Their 4th album, One of These Nights, had achieved great success, becoming their first #1 album in the US. Additionally, their compilation album, Their Greatest Hits, released in '76, became the best-selling album in the United States, with 38 million copies sold. However, it was their quest to push artistic boundaries and redefine their sound that would lead them to create their crowning achievement, Hotel California. Released in December 1976, Hotel California was the Eagles' 5th studio album and marked a turning point in their career. This album was the first to feature guitarist Joe Walsh, who replaced founding member Bernie Leadon, and the last to include bassist Randy Meisner, who departed in the following year. Leadon, who had been the band's principal country influence, left after the release of their previous album, One of These Nights, in 1975. For Hotel California, the band deliberately shifted away from their country rock roots, exploring a more straightforward rock and roll sound. Tracks like Victim of Love and Life in the Fast Lane exemplify this new direction. The album's creative process began with the writing of the title track, Hotel California, which set the tone for the entire record. Don Henley later remarked that the word California evokes powerful imagery, mystique, and a unique mythology shaped by American film and music. He described it as a concept that sparks the imagination of people worldwide, representing a cultural ideal. Recording sessions for the album took place from March to October 1976 at Criteria Studios in Miami and Record Plant Studios in Los Angeles. A funny story from the sessions is that Black Sabbath, who were recording their album Technical Ecstasy in an adjacent studio at Criteria, frequently disrupted the Eagles with their loud volume, causing occasional pauses in the recording sessions of the American band. Anyway, when Hotel California was released on December 8, 1976, it garnered immediate commercial acclaim. The album's first single, New Kid in Town, became the band's 3rd #1 hit in the United States. The following single was the album's title track, Hotel California. Hey, I'd like to take a quick moment to share something with you. Right now, my goal is to reach 100 subscribers on this channel. I know it might sound small, but to me, believe me, it's huge, and I can't do it without your help. So if you're enjoying the video, please hit that subscribe button. It means a lot to me. Every single subscriber makes a massive difference. So thank you so much for your support, and let's get back to the video. When Don Felder joined the Eagles in 1974, Bernie Leadon, the band's other guitar player, told him if he wanted to write songs with Don Henley and Glenn Frey, he'd have to make musical beds for them only, and not try to give them full songs with lyrics, because that was their job. The creation of Hotel California began with a demo crafted by Don Felder. Drawing inspiration from Latin and reggae styles, Felder recorded the initial instrumental tracks using a drum machine in his spare bedroom. He layered a 12-string guitar melody over a 4-track recording deck. He added a bass line, and then he created a foundation that he shared with Don Henley and Glenn Frey. Henley described the demo as sounding like a Mexican reggae or bolero, giving it the working title, Mexican Reggae.
I just remember that one day I was kind of sitting on this couch in this rental house that I had on the beach in Malibu. My youngest son was playing out in the sand.
Yep.
Kind of the California summer sun was glistening on the water. I had on a pair of cut-off shorts and was just got out of the water, and I was sitting there just playing acoustic guitar, and kind of out came that introduction, and I played it and played it and played it about 4 times, and I went, I've got to go record this before I forget it.
That was Eagles guitarist Don Felder talking about the writing of Hotel California. Henley and Frey took the instrumental and wrote most of the song's lyrics, transforming Felder's intriguing foundation into a compelling narrative. Henley decided on the theme of Hotel California, noting how the Beverly Hills Hotel had become a literal and symbolic focal point of their lives at that time. Henley said of their personal and professional experience in LA, "We were getting an extensive education in love, in life, and business." He later remarked in 2007 that the song reflects the dark underbelly of the American dream. It's about access in America, which was something we knew about. In 2013, he elaborated further, calling it a journey from innocence to experience. The final recording of Hotel California took months to perfect at Criteria Studios in Miami, with each band member contributing to the song. Multiple takes were recorded, with 5 or 6 of the best ones selected, and the finest section is spliced together to produce the final version we hear on the record. No discussion of Hotel California is complete without mentioning its legendary guitar solo, performed by Don Felder and Joe Walsh. The solo is a seamless interplay of 2 guitars weaving together intricate melodies and harmonies. When Don Felder wrote the ending solo, he recorded his guitar parts on a Les Paul, and also played Joe's answers on the Strat. He used a different amp, so it sounded like a different guy, the way Joe might play it. When we were in the studio, Joe and I started jamming, and Don said, No, stop, it's not right. I said, what do you mean it's not right? And he said, No, you've got to play it just like the demo. The only problem was that Don Felder had done that demo a year earlier, and he couldn't even remember what was on it. So he had to call his housekeeper in Malibu, who took the cassette, put it in a blaster, and played it with the phone held up to the blaster. The band recorded it, and Don had to sit in Miami and play exactly what was on the demo. Joe Walsh had to listen to the way Don Felder had emulated him, and then Joe played something very close to that. The band initially recorded the song in Los Angeles, in its original key, E minor, which worked well for the guitar, but didn't suit Don Henley's voice. In the studio, his vocal sounded too high, prompting them to experiment with different keys, moving from D minor to C minor, and finally settling on B minor. While B minor wasn't ideal for the guitar, it fit Don's voice perfectly. So they re-recorded the track and added the guitar parts, but the version was deemed too fast. As mentioned earlier in this video, the final version would only come together later in Miami. Don Felder recorded the solo playing his Les Paul through a 50s Tweed Deluxe, probably from 1955 or 56, and Joe Walsh played a Telecaster through a Fender Tweed Champ, also from the 50s. The result was an intricate interplay between 2 incredible guitarists, creating one of the most iconic pieces of popular music in history. Over the years, Hotel California has sparked endless debates about its meaning. Some interpret it as a critique of the hedonistic lifestyle of the 70s in Los Angeles, while others see it as an allegory for spiritual entrapment. The vivid imagery in the lyrics mirrors champagne and a beast has been dissected line by line. However, the band has consistently stated that the song is open to interpretation. Don Henley described it as a commentary on the darker side of the American dream, capturing the zeitgeist of an era marked by excess, particularly in the music industry. Henley has clarified that Hotel California was neither written as a praise for Satan nor a celebration of America. The song also contains subtle references to personal and professional dynamics. The lyric, "They stab it with their steely knives," is a playful jab at the band's rival, Steely Dan. Additionally, Henley admitted that some of the more critical lines in the song reflect his feelings toward his ex-girlfriend, LA jewelry designer Lori Rodkin. At its core, Henley explained, Hotel California explores themes of the loss of innocence, the dangers of fame and access, the tension between illusion and reality, and the fading ideals of the 1960s dream of peace, love, and understanding. Despite these insights, Henley encouraged listeners to find their own meaning in the lyrics, keeping the song's mystique alive. According to Henley, the Eagles probably peaked on Hotel California. Nearly 5 decades later its release, Hotel California remains a cultural touchstone. It has been inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame, covered by countless artists, and continues to captivate new generations of listeners. Whether it's the haunting melody, the enigmatic lyrics, or the jaw-dropping guitar solo, Hotel California stands as a milestone in popular music. That was the story of Hotel California. Thanks for joining me, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into music history. Until next time.